Hello, everybody, and welcome back to Odin's Movie Blog. I am the critic who is a cynic. Hope we're doing well, and today we've actually got some breaking news just announced. Disney CEO Bob Iger has stepped down as CEO. He is still acting as executive chairman, but he has stepped down as CEO, and a new CEO has already been chosen. This is pretty crazy news overall. Disney picks Bob Chapek as the next CEO. This is, of course, news coming from The Hollywood Reporter. It's an end of an era of the Walt Disney Company. That is one thing to say. It's a seismic move. The conglomerate said on Tuesday that it's naming Bob Chapek as its next CEO, succeeding Bob Iger immediately. Iger is assuming the role executive chairman and will lead the board through his contract at the end of December 31st, 2021. Chapek has been with the company since '93. Has been chairman of Disney Parks, Experiences, and Products since 2018. New contract began on the February 24th and ends February 28th, 2023. So that seems like he is going to be in that CEO at least for the time being. It doesn't seem like a short-term holdover until they find someone else, but that is a pretty incredible news that they've already found it to this point. Chapek said, "I'm incredibly honored and humbled to assume the role of CEO of what I truly believe is the greatest company in the world and to lead our exceptionally talented and dedicated cast members and employees." Chapek noted Bob Iger has built Disney into the most admired and successful media and entertainment company, and I've been lucky to enjoy a front row seat as a member of his leadership team. Oh boy, that's glossing over a lot of details. Since Iger took over as CEO of Disney in 2005, he has presided over a period of dramatic expansion for the company, leading to acquisitions of Pixar, Marvel, and Lucasfilm. Hey, and at the very least, what I can say positively about Bob Iger is that he indeed was a part of those takeovers of those industries. You might say acquisitions, I say giant takeovers. In 2019 alone, Disney had an unprecedented 7 blockbusters hit the $1 billion mark at the box office globally. They also picked up a lot of things from 20th Century Fox, which is not mentioned there in that specific sentence, but guess what? That means they also picked up a lot of the box office losses that have been coming from recent Fox films as well. Iger states, with the successful launch of Disney's direct-to-consumer businesses, which I think is actually kind of hiding things a little bit, seeing that, yeah, it did have a good initial launch. However, there's a lot of questions as far as will they be able to retain their members after the Verizon one-year contract that they have. Like for Verizon members, they get a year for free. Will those people stay on their contract, or will they eventually just say, oh, it's no longer free anymore, I don't want it anymore, or will Disney somehow make a deal with Verizon to keep that going into perpetuity? I don't really know what's going to happen with that. However, what I do know is that they've lost a lot of people since The Mandalorian ended, and we're still waiting for a lot of things to come back. Yeah, we have Clone Wars right now, and the first episode was great, but there's really a lacking of original content that's bringing a lot of people, or a lot of new people, onto the scene, as well as having a lot of issues still with the service overall. So I think you're sugarcoating it just a little bit about it being a giant success. And the integration of 20th Century Fox well underway. I believe this is the optimal time to transition to a new CEO, especially as you take a lot of those old Fox properties and either destroy them because you had some influence in the making of their films overall through the making process when the transition was happening several months ago, or you just don't care and are releasing films like Underwater, for example, at random times for them to be gigantic box office losses. Again, I think that one could easily argue that Bob Iger has led to a lot of growth for the Disney company, has led to a lot of their shares growing tremendously as well. He was already planning to step down when his contract expired. This is really not a surprise at this point that he's decided to take on some type of consumer role, or rather some type of transitionary role. However, it does make me ask the question, why now, Bob? What's going on now? And also, even more so, what does this mean for the future of properties like Lucasfilm? If Bob Iger is no longer CEO, and you have someone else at the top making the shots, calling the shots, could we now see some shakeups happen at Lucasfilm? Is this now the time that Kathleen Kennedy steps down, or possibly does something similar where she gets put into a different position? Something already has kind of happened to that extent, seeing that she at one point was the head of Lucasfilm in every single capacity, but she also, I remember there was an announcement that her role had changed somewhat over the last year or so. So I'm wondering if that's going to happen again with her or not. Either way, breaking news, Disney CEO Bob Iger, the person that we go over, is going over and being replaced with a new Bob, which I just think is hilarious, the fact that Bob has been replaced with Bob, so we can still talk about Bob all the day long. But Bob Chapek, don't know anything really about him. He seems to be a company man since '93, and so therefore we can assume he will continue Disney's business as usual, which based on current things going on in their films, and especially their treatment of Lucasfilm and of Star Wars, and of the fans of Star Wars, I still have to say hashtag Doug Fisney. But anyway, what are your thoughts about this breaking news? Do you think this is a sign that Kathleen Kennedy's job could be the next thing to get altered or moved around? Was this possibly a push out? Was this possibly behind the scenes stuff going on? Or do you think this was pretty cordial? Based on everything we're hearing, it seems like this was totally Bob Iger's choice, that he chose to step down. He thought it was a good time to do so, to transition out of the role, that he'll be stepping away from the company almost completely, or at least for the most part, by 2021. It will be interesting to see and follow that story as it continues to unfold. Was planning to do a totally different video, was actually going to put a video from a podcast that I just finished recording with my friend John Flickpick, John Flickinger of the Flickpick channel. So actually, if you are a keeper of the Bifrost level on Patreon, subscribe star, or here on YouTube, member on YouTube as well, you'll have access to that podcast within the next several minutes as I upload that to YouTube, Patreon, and Subscribestar. So if you want to hear us talk about Batman, if you want to hear us talk about the new the Batman suit, all the leaked images, talk about some of the newer films that have come out, including our commentary and somewhat debate about Sonic, about whether it was a good film or not, and other things like that, make sure you check out and hit that join button today. Become a keeper of the Bifrost level, and you'll have access to that podcast and also the podcast that we recorded about a couple weeks ago. Anyway, you guys are all amazing, beautiful people. Hit that like button, smash the like button, hit that subscribe. It helps a lot. You're all amazing, beautiful people. Have a wonderful day, and as always, God bless. And now to give a shout out to my February Patreon and Subscribestar members: Animation Commentator Brian P., Dion, David Brobrizik. Please let me know if I need to repronounce that name. DivX, Elizabeth M., Enrique Evangelista, Father Christopher Miller, Frank the Tank and the Shawhan Weird Dog Clan, Harold Francis, The Hunky Chunky Funky Monkey, Inflamed Wood, Trap Productions, Jason Clark, Jeffrey Toon, Jeffrey Lebowski, JJ Jonathan Jerembeck, Kenneth Cameo, Lady T, Mad Mitch Dunaway, Mr. Peabody and his evil twin with the beautiful hair, Orange Hat Reviews, Outpost Dyer, Perpetual Punster, Riff Magos, Rosetta Allen, Steve Glasker, Teresa Martin, Theodore Bendon, The DJD Show, and Tina B. And over on Subscribestar, Robert Revo, Larry, Mr. Roy, Glinzer, G2 Cool 99, Darkstar 57, Alice McCarthy, US 888-209 Fast, Dean Heiss, Harold Francis, J-Rod the Beer Guru, Nebanon G. Adams, and ZK Man. Then a shout out to Riff Racer Request and Sir Lance Elato and Mike Jackson. You rock. Thank you very much for being my Patreon Subscribestar members for the month of February. And if anyone else decides to join, at the next couple of days or so, I will add you into this list as well. You guys freaking rock. Have a wonderful one. And as always, God bless.